Good morning. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us this morning. My name is Kelly and I'm the L&D specialist at Netcash. And joining me today is Luca, the product manager from Retail Capital. Luca is going to talk to us about who Retail Capital is and their service offering. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat. Luca will answer some of your questions after the presentation and Retail Capital will make contact with you. So I'm now going to hand over to Luca, and thank you so much, Luca.
Thank you, Kelly. Good morning, everybody. Can everybody see my slides? Just want to confirm that.
Here we go.
Awesome. Cool. So Retail Capital, the future of SME funding. So just a bit of an agenda. So we're going to go through who Retail Capital are, alternative funding versus traditional funding, the Netcash instant funding, how SMEs have used their Netcash instant funding, and then just the customer journey, just to take you through how that whole process flow works. So who is Retail Capital? So Retail Capital, a division of TymeBank, was established in 2011. We're in the business of providing SMEs with alternative funding to help them grow. So we believe that our country's economy's future lies in the hands of South African businesses. We also know that those businesses often fall within that funding gap, meaning they are denied funding because either they've been trading too short or they don't have collateral to put up. Since 2011, Retail Capital has provided over 7 billion rands in funding to more than 50,000 small business owners. In November 2021, we partnered with Netcash to provide an even easier, seamless journey for all its customers to access funding. I'm going to now explain the differences between alternative funding versus traditional funding. So alternative funding, we provide an advance on your future turnover. So we look at your turnover, and that's how we provide the funding on that. Traditional funding is typically a loan. So like be it a personal loan, a credit card type structure. Retail Capital, it's a single fixed fee structure. Where a traditional funding, it's interest-based and attracts default rates. Those are also subject to once the South African Reserve Bank decides to change rates, obviously that rate can shift, unlike ours. Our funding is unrestricted, and you can use that funding for whatever you like. Where traditional funding, it's restricted use of that finance. So generally they'll put a rule on you have to buy stock for it, you have to buy property for it, or whatever you want to use that funding for, but they want proof that what you say you're using that funding for is what you're going to use it for. Retail Capital provides flexible payment linked to your turnover. So if your turnover does fluctuate, those payment returns can fluctuate down to make sure to limit the impact on your business. And then obviously from a traditional funding perspective, that's a fixed repayment over a defined term. Retail Capital, no collateral is required, so it's unsecured. And sometimes with the traditional funding, they do require collateral. It could be in your personal capacity. And the last point that I just want to go through is our application process is a simple qualifying criteria, and it's all digital. And then sometimes from a traditional funding perspective, it's strict qualifying criteria and it's a detailed application. Cool. So I'm just going to go through Netcash instant funding because this is why we're here today. So the first things first that we have to remind ourselves is to be considered for the instant funding offer. You would need to have utilized the Netcash debit order and pay now services for the preceding 3 months. You also had to have consent that your business information may be shared with Retail Capital to prepare an application and a pre-approved offer. If you don't know how to do that, please don't stress. You can always reach out to the Netcash operations team and they'll assist you with that process. The flexibility of the instant cash offering is in your hands because you decide the amount of money that you would like to lend up to the pre-approved offer of 500,000 rand and also the term on those particular offers. By accepting the instant instant funding offer made to you. You agree the funds will be paid into your Netcash account. Again, that will be fully aware what account that is when you go through the contracting phase, and I'll show you some screens on where you can pick that up. The application is seamless and it's all digital, and the funds are paid within 24 hours of approval. I just want to put an asterisk there. For instance, tomorrow being a public holiday, I'm just going to give you that example. If you applied after 3 o'clock today, which is generally our cutoff, those funds will be paid on Thursday and not on Wednesday. The same said for weekends. So if you apply on a Friday, late afternoon, those funds will be dispersed on the Monday. So generally, if you applying during the week, no public holidays, it will be within the 24-hour SLA. Just an important note, it is not a loan, no interest charged, no security required. So we did a survey and we asked how other businesses, how they use their funding, and I just want to go through what they use that funding for. So 69% of our customers use that funding to restock their businesses. 34% bought assets for their businesses. 19% expanded their business. 10% tried to pursue new business opportunities, and then the last two is 4% said other, and then 3% built out the e-commerce space. Interesting fact to note: 40% of our respondents use the funding for more than one thing, which I think just further highlights the fact that it's unrestricted funding, and you can use it for more than one thing. So just to, you may ask me, Luca, how do we get access to this funding? Where do we find these deals? So generally what will happen is you'll get a marketing email. So I'm going to show you two processes where you can go through it. So you'll get this marketing email from Netcash. You'll be able to click on the to access funding, the homepage. This will request you to log into your Netcash portal, right? So I'm sure everybody's familiar with this. You just log in. The second way, just because it's part of the process, you'll log into your portal and you'll see this. You'll also see here you have the option to apply for funding here with your offer, and it has the offer amount in here, so you can also click apply. Where these two will both take you is to the following three screens. So it'll go through the instant funding screens. Here you'll be able to drag and drop, so it'll increase the amount, the maximum offer you have available. So this client's maximum offer is 244,000 Rand, and you're able to drag and drop the term. So the term is limited to 12 months, and this obviously is the shortest period is 9 months. Here you'll be able to see the estimate term, what percentage of turnover we withhold from you. Obviously, that's the set fee, the estimated repayment for this particular funding option, and the total repayment. If you're happy with all of this, you're able to click here and you hereby consent, share your personal information with Retail Capital, and say apply for funding. You go onto our contracting screen. This will be pre-populated for you and the particular user in hand. It will have all your company's information. It will have an ID number of here. This is where I was talking about. This is where the bank account that'll be paid into. It'll have the cash advance purchase offer, the purchase amount. So this is obviously the amount of funding you received, and this is obviously the amount of the repayment amount. It'll have the percentage withheld. So this is obviously 15% estimated term that will be held for. There is a processing fee, and then obviously the total purchase and processing fee amount. So it's just that plus the 150. If you're happy with that, you can tick access the funding, you can accept the offer. And once that's happened, the instant funding, you will get this congratulations screen. From here, you'll be emailed your contract. So it's a PDF document that will be emailed through to you. And then the funding will generally take 24 hours to disperse, depending on when you access it. And that is Retail Capital's funding, instant funding in a nutshell, with partnership with Netcash. Do we have any questions? Just want to see.
Not currently.
Nothing from this side here, Luca.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
If there is, sorry, Kelly.
No, please carry on.
So if there is anything from the attendees on the call, please don't hesitate to reach out to Retail Capital's team or the Netcash team. The questions will filter through to us, and I'll gladly answer those by email. And if you do get stuck in anywhere within the process, there definitely is operations teams on both sides that is more than willing to assist you through all the questions that you might have.
Thank you, Luca, for the wonderful presentation, and thank you all so much for your time today. Have a lovely day further, and goodbye.